Alright, welcome back to Hinamizawa, everyone, and now for time for something completely different.
No! Don't! Don't!
Oh my god, we'll have to start from episode 1.
We're gonna have something different to BGM like this. So who's doing narration?
That is the question.
Okay, I guess I'll do it. Sleepy. Do we have Rena from last session? Whoever it was? I do not remember.
Here half of the time last time.
Do you want to continue that?
I can.
Okay.
Let me get into. Whoa, that was a really big yawn, Keiichi-kun.
I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but it doesn't look like I can do it today.
Relevant narration.
Was Tehate also Keiichi, right? No,
Yeah,
I was Keiichi. I think. Forget. I was watching TV until late last night. Something. I'm so tired right now.
I'll take her for now. Was it one of those raunchy TV shows you loved so much on last night?
Oh my god. The gratification.
I can pick her.
I have the wrong kind of voice for that.
Preparing Goblin mode.
No.
Didn't you almost say they can? Okay. Did I mishear?
are we gonna draw straws?
I'm not sure he said
I
I
didn't-
can. I think he just said like trying to pass it off to me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to take the
that
goblin again.
That is not an offer, that is a fucking order.
The goblin has possessed me on this session.
Yours will be like semi-normal for once, I guess.
Okay, you guys took so long that I got done
Yeah,
eating.
hang on.
Incredible.
Continue.
Now we have our Satoko voice here.
How extremely vile!
Bottom.
There you go.
Oh my god. The goblin is a turd.
Was I Keiichi last session? Do you remember the header?
I would probably suggest someone else voice Keiichi for this session. I can take narration back. Unless you guys want to kill my throat, that's okay. If you guys just want to, like...
No, I
be
mean,
right here,
was I?
It's fine.
I remember I was Mion. I don't remember who's Keiichi. Because I remember you saying you didn't want to be both. 'cause-
I mean, last
Yeah.
time Tate was Keiichi.
Yeah, I think I was both
But-
last time.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll take Keiichi now. Wait a second. Don't imagine things and jump to conclusions.
I'll take her. It's perfectly
Okay.
normal for boys. Nothing to be ashamed about.
Oh yeah, by the way, in case you guys want to see anything in, like, the original thing, just let me know and I can do that.
Oh, let's see the whole game in original sprites.
No,
That would be an
I think the
experience.
style's fine.
It is
Oh,
art
sorry,
style
wait,
isn't
right, I
a
forgot-
sin
I
against
forgot I wasn't
mankind.
eating anymore. Rika not patting my head only made me feel worse.
Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? No, seriously.
My, you think I would just sit here and allow that?
I get really angry if you disturb me. Really angry.
Who's typing an essay?
This ASMR was just dreadful. Yes, so sleepy. I slumped my head onto the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. It seemed that Satoko had responded, but I pretended not to hear.
Cut it out, Satoko-chan. Keiichi-kun fell asleep. His sleeping face, it's so cute.
That's what I say to people when I'm watching them sleep.
You can take him home.
That's what I
later.
say to the other people that are
Let him-
also watching them sleep.
Let him be for now.
To be fair, kind of skill
We
issue.
all
on you
just
for
gather
sleeping in a
around
public space.
Keiichi's bed with like popcorn buckets.
Just throw him at him.
Very
Keep it our
quietly
favorite.
eat the popcorn.
Let's move over there. It'd be rude to Keiichi if we bothered him now.
Rika-chan really is a good girl.
Let's not wake him up even if the teacher comes back.
I take that back. The excuse that I didn't sleep much last night because I was watching TV was a lie. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Oishi-san that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep. Just spending the day like this, it's almost as if the incident with Tomatake-san didn't happen at all. It made me think, was Oishi-san just trying to deceive me? But it was probably the truth. One thing was certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I really didn't know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened in the first place. It ended up with me, again, regretting learning something I didn't need to know. If I never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Oishi-san for this.
Huh? When was that?
I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appears he vanished the night of the Watanagashi.
Mion whispered to keep the others from listening, but I could hear it clearly.
That's a great whisper on my end.
On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up. But I could still tell that she was quite upset. It couldn't be. Are they talking about Tomatake-san?
Itake?
Not sure, that's all I know.
I would have to feign ignorance about this topic because I needed to keep it a secret. Rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation, it was much easier to sit here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on their discussion. Wait, why did I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung.
So, and me. There are others, right? Two?
But I don't know if it's from the curse or if this was an Onikakushi.
Onikakushi? Close enough. Onikakushi?
I'd want to study Japanese.
I'm pretty sure it's Onikakushi.
I'm not saying I'm an authority, I'm just saying that... Fuck me.
I'll pass, thanks.
Well, if you insist. To be hidden away by a demon? What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good.
There was another, right? Right?
If it's Oyashiro-sama's, yeah.
But... This year, at all?
Grandma and the mayor had talked about it. Seems they talked to the police about it beforehand. They said they'd take care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion.
Then, without us knowing it, someone had... You mean?
They can't say kill.
Murmur.
Next could be... I wonder.
Don't worry, you got home safely.
But is not allowed, right?
That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this.
Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was still a bit unclear, but a few parts caught my attention. First of all, the term Onikakushi, to be demoned away. By the context it was used in, I would guess it's similar to being spirited away. I suspected that was what it meant.
drop?
I suspected that was what it meant, because Tomitake-san and that woman, it really bugged me that I don't know her name, vanished after the Watanagashi.
He was probably called Jim.
But if you looked at the tips last time, they do in fact say her name. The next thing that stuck out was when Rena said, "There's another one, right?" Mian also said, "Only if it's Oyashiro-sama's, yeah," responding to something. If it's Oyashiro-sama's curse, then there
Good
had
impression.
to be 2 victims. Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Mion saying at the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was a case of Onikakushi. It seemed like the curse and being demoned away are different things, and they were phenomena that were paired together. I recall Tomitake-san's terrible end. That wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. That horrendous end would best be described as cursed. Then, the woman with him, it means she vanished because she was demoned away? What I do know is that there's normally an even number of victims of the curse proper. And the last point that bothered me was Rena. Rena was frightened. For what reason, I didn't know. However, she knew that something had made her a potential target for Oyashiro-sama's curse. If I recall correctly, Oyashiro-sama should be the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. Isn't a guardian deity supposed to defend the citizens and drive out invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday Oishi-san said that originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there was no longer any distinction between them or regular outsiders. But if that was the case, then I would think that I'd be the more likely target, having moved here more recently than Rena. From her composure, I can infer that she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably relay what I'd heard just now to Oishi-san, informing the police of what I heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep. It made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would it be better not to seek the answers to those questions? As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I had fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned of these events.
Was he reading ahead? What a bastard.
The teacher approaches!
Keiichi-san, you must awaken!
What the heck? They were supposed to leave him asleep.
In the distance, I could hear the ring of the handbell signaling the start of afternoon
They were supposed to
classes.
draw dicks on his face while he was asleep.
I couldn't
Yeah.
sleep at all. I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was in that moment when I leaned against the back of my seat. Ugh! There was a thumbtack stuck on the back of my chair with tape! Circumstantial evidence was enough.
Satoko!
Guilty without trial. Capital punishment! I furiously jumped up from my seat. And I tripped as if my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces had been tied together.
Not bad, Satoko. While I was sleeping, you were able to conceal your presence to pull off this fine piece of work.
The teacher came in right as I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle Satoko.
Oh, did you not notice that our teacher has arrived, Keiichi-san?
Take your seat. Clomp clomp, wish, whiff.
Jump scare.
Not caring one bit, I made her eat a flick to the forehead.
Bwah! Keiichi-san is being mean!
Who's the teacher?
I think I was last time. Does anyone want it? I can still do it.
I mean, this isn't a major role, so anyone having it is fine.
Hey, don't pick on the younger kids, Mayabara-kun. I can't. Blah, apologize to her.
It's okay.
That's canonically what she said.
I saw Satoko stick her tongue out at me. That little brat!
Come on, Mayabara-kun.
Yeah, I'll apologize. Sorry, Satoko-san.
In any case, I apologize, even if it was in a completely insincere tone of voice. Damn her, I'll remember this.
K-chan, K-chan, get your revenge at the club meeting. Take your seat, take your seat.
I sat down after Mion told me to. She'd switched to class representative mode. Stance switch. With the boring classes finished, school was finally over for the day. Now then, what should we do for our club today? Personally, I would like to play that deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Oishi-san.
You're gonna play
telling me
Amogus.
about a guy who ripped out his throat with his fingernails. And Brenna and I weren't even able to
tasteless
test
of
out our
him.
strategy.
That's right. Today, Keiichi-kun and I will be victorious.
What should we do? We've never played the same game 2 days in a row before.
Why not try asking me?
Mion looked over her shoulder as we made eye contact. She slowly tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up.
Oops, I completely forgot. I need to go help my uncle today. Sorry guys, not today.
Can you make out a fucking word I'm saying?
Barely.
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 Half and half.
Because I'm reading the text at the
I
same
hope
time.
you're not gonna do that during the serious scenes. That's a little much. Anyway,
I'll
Being your
back
uncle.
slightly.
Aren't you a little goody
Oh, wait.
two-shoes?
You have 2 cares, right? Right now?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take one if you don't want to do both.
You can do the green hair then.
Okay. Sorry, really. I really did forget. Well then, sorry guys. This old man's heading back home now.
Mion left us with that and rushed off to the exit after snatching up her bag.
You see me, Chun? She sometimes goes to help at her uncle's shop in town.
Ah, I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff.
She said that she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money, from what I hear. Definitely not a plebeian amount.
I see. She was able to pay for that mountain of games with what she saved up from there.
But would you call that a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy?
There's a clause that states household chores are excluded.
Is that what she's calling it? So what now? Pass on the club today?
School has one teacher who is going to enforce
So-
that rule.
We're done today, I guess? I
I mean,
guess?
have you seen what the principal can pull off?
I mean, okay, but... You know what? You make a fair point, actually.
He knows kung fu. You can't break any rules.
He has a
Bro, I think he knows
multi-hit
every
combo,
martial
bro.
art.
I would not mess with him.
Yeah.
Won't it be fine even without the club president? Come on, let's do this.
I opened the club locker and began searching for the deduction game from that ever-growing pile of games.
Here it is. The deduction game from yesterday. Man, I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it.
At the very least, I wanted to repay Satoko for what she did during the afternoon break.
I do not mind. But is that fine for Rena-san and Rika?
if Keiichi-kun wants it so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit.
I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together.
When she says it like that.
I wanted to go shopping if there wasn't a club meeting today. Going to buy soy sauce and other things.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot.
Well, I guess since it's been a while, I should go treasure hunting.
What's this now?
A while?
Everyone was no longer in the mood for club activities.
Just gonna dig up a second Colonel Sanders statue.
She
Well,
said
to
in
be
cute
fair, there was
withdrawal.
like a time skip to the festival, so it probably has been a while. If I
There
kept-
were 2 days without treasure hunting.
No, it's fine. If I kept trying to push the matter, it may make them realize I had a trick up my sleeve. Well, I'll give up this time. K1.
Oh, sorry. Man, I was really looking forward to playing it.
I shuffled through the cards as if I was still caught up on it.
At the next opportunity, I shall give you a sound thrashing.
The murderer is Satoko. The murder weapon is the pistol. It was you after all.
What did you say? Then I'll just...
Satoko looked through the cards on the desk and stuck out 3 of them at me.
The murderer is Keiichi, in the lounge with the rope.
I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you. Like this.
Man's destroying this child with facts and logic.
Keiichi-san is such
And
a
his head.
beast.
Phew. Well, I guess it's good that I got that out of my system.
She just punch.
I'll remember this, Keiichi-san.
He just fucking suplexes her onto the floor.
Oh my god!
She was used as a plaything for quite a while, you poor thing.
Jesus Christ.
Plaything is a bad way to put that.
That is not the way you want to describe that.
Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. There were just the suspect cards, but I noticed something strange. Rena, Satoko, Rika, Keiichi, Mion,
Jim.
Satoshi.
Oh.
Jim!
Satoshi? Not all the cards were made by us. Or at least, every card besides this one has the name of a club member. Does this mean that this Satoshi fellow is a member? Was there someone in the class named Satoshi? I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi on the class roster stuck up on the wall.
Keiichi-kun, let's hurry and finish cleaning up.
Being rushed by Rena, I finished up quickly. Satoko and Rika-chan had already headed merrily for their lockers, and so we were the only ones left in the classroom.
Merrily.
Right now, Rena had already gotten her bag and was ready to leave.
Rena, there must be quite a few people who transfer from this school, right?
I tried asking Rena in a bit of a roundabout way. Rena made a troubled face, then answered.
Yeah? Hinamizawa is a rural town, right? Some people transfer out every now and then.
Then is Satoshi another one of these transferees?
Sorry! I don't really know.
There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate.
I'm not saying it to be mean. Just last year, I transferred in, so maybe I just missed him. So I didn't hear much about him. Sorry.
I wonder if she might be being a little bit dishonest. We'll never know.
Well, no, because she said she transferred last year, so
Oh,
she just missed him.
yeah. She transferred last year, so of course she has no idea who Satoshi is. I am not sure. Sorry.
It's literally written right there in the novel.
Her answer was
He's
a
a
lot
ghost.
like when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. I was saddened by her denial, and felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they?
Okay, Mister, I talk to the police.
Though I do appreciate that they kept that unsettling curse thing from me. But if everyone is worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right?
Hooray, mass hysteria.
For a moment, I wondered just what kind of face I was making just then, with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance.
Keiichi-kun, you're making a scary face. Why is it? Why?
It was probably exactly the kind of face Rena said it was. It appeared my grim expression had frightened her.
Sorry. I was really looking forward to the club today. I'm just feeling down about it.
I rustled Rena's hair.
Let's go home.
You rustled some cattle.
Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. I wonder why. Why have I been getting this dumb feeling lately? I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long, outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry.
Keiichi-kun, are you tired, maybe? Maybe?
Lena timidly questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made the situation even more unsettling.
You think so?
Yeah. You seem to have been a little out of it ever since this morning. Maybe a cold?
Physically, I was pretty sure I was in perfect health. It may not seem like it, but I've had perfect attendance since elementary school. Rena continued on since I didn't give her an answer.
It could be that fatigue from moving has finally caught up to you. Oh,
Sorry.
where am I?
Wait, hold on.
Still the same line.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah. Wait,
Okay,
Go
I
one
need
more
to-
and then go to
Yeah,
the log.
right.
Wait,
It's
where-
a bit silly.
where'd it
There-
go?
There we go.
it could be that fatigue from moving has finally caught up to you. It's completely different from where you used to live, after all. Of course you've gotten tired, since there's so much you need to get used to and remember.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, it has to be. I was also like that at first, too. I can tell, you know? You know?
I wondered if Rena also experienced the slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now.
Aliens mentioned?
I don't think that's what he means. Thinking so, I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I felt.
As a fellow alien abduction survivor, of course.
I'd like to hear about when you first met Hinamizawa. How was it?
Feeling I had been drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened.
It's the same. It was the same as Keiichi-kun. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Michan and the rest were all very kind, so I wasn't lonely. But I did still feel a little out of place.
Rena told me all the details of when she had moved here. All of her first acquaintances and surprises, worries and good times.
So, Satoko got you too?
Yeah, there was a thumbtack on my chair. Poke. Then with that, yeah, it really takes me back.
When were you invited into the club? The first day?
Nah, there wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed partway through. One day she said we should stay after and hold a big game tournament.
Come to think of it, Mion did say she was the first club president. Now I get it.
This is a secret, but Michan used to be really bad at the beginning. She'd never win.
Huh? Mion? Really? I can't even imagine that.
She had to do most of the penalties that she came up with. Seriously, don't tell.
I can't believe Mion was like that. So she gradually transformed into a monster who used any means necessary to win during that time. Mion is at her
got
best
good.
when she's fighting dirty.
I began making more friends besides Michan after that. But yeah, it might have only been since you moved here that I had finally felt like I had gotten used to it here.
I guess Rena had also been left in the dark about Oyashiro-sama when she had just moved here. Also, is somebody like moving furniture?
Possibly.
Oh yeah, I'm hearing that.
Okay. I guess when they finally told me about Oyashiro-sama, I'd be considered one of them.
I wonder when I'll finally be considered one of them.
Huh? Did you say something?
No, sorry. Just talking to myself.
Keiichi-kun, you're silly.
Rena was poking fun and laughing at me, and I couldn't help but laugh as well. But I suddenly stopped. Then, after making up my mind, I spoke.
Hey, Rena. Is there something that everybody is keeping from me?
Huh? No, not at all.
You're lying, aren't you?
Rena suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense.
What do you mean by that, Keiichi-kun?
Her tone was still the same cheery and light-hearted one as before.
You are, aren't you? Keeping something from me.
After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regretted saying something so rash. But she came back at me in a way I didn't expect.
Ah! Well then, Keiichi-kun. Aren't you keeping something from us?
A jump scare.
Oh my god, I love her now.
Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Rena. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this was the same Rena.
Aren't you? Lies are secrets. Aren't you?
What is a man?
You are.
That is my girlfriend.
Secrets.
I didn't say it.
She didn't actually say that part, but she looked as if she did. The incident with Tomatake-san, and how I felt alienated from the group. Even without having to think about it, there were things I knew that I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone about what happened with Tomatake-san to be considerate. I was keeping it a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Oyashiro-sama. Then, aren't we even?
No, I'm not. No lies, nor secrets.
Liar.
Her answer was instant, and it shook me. Rena stared as if burrowing through me, watching me like a hawk.
Why would you say I'm lying?
Didn't you say that you were called to the teacher's room yesterday during the club meeting, Keiichi-kun? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room.
I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff. She knew what happened.
The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside the car near the school gate, with some man we don't know.
Rena knew everything. She knew that I was called out by Oishi-san, and that I heard about the incident with Tomatake-san as well. Did she know all of it?
Exactly who was that man?
Was he
I
your
don't
lover?
know him.
Why did someone you don't know have business with you?
I want to know that myself.
Then what did you talk about?
It has nothing to do with you guys.
It was a lie. Rena's scream echoed through the trees. That was, she said lies, by the way.
I'm sorry that I didn't scream lies. I didn't.
But just by the way,
I did not react fast enough.
It's not too late. It's not too late.
in the dub,
Lies.
the dub,
There.
it is so loud that she actually clips the mic when she says lies. Anyway,
Beautiful.
sending frightened birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken. No, it was like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here I first realized. The person in front of me, she wasn't Rena Ryugu. Then, who was it that was standing before me now? Who had assumed Rena Ryugu's appearance? I had held my breath for so long I could feel myself suffocating.
Right?
And then she made a fresh facial expression that Rena normally might have made. It didn't matter that it was Rena's usual smile. It chilled me to the bone. Oh yeah, real quick, let's just... here's how Steamport does it. And here's the OG.
What's Manga Gamer's obsession with foreheads?
It's because
He loves
they
them.
publish age games, so...
The artist thinly veiled fetish.
She drew closer to me.
It's not even thinly veiled. Look at me on
I
Sprite.
felt her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was with Rena's face was going to chew my nose right off.
His nose.
I
That's
cowered
not
as I
exciting?
imagined that. Well,
Yeah, wait, that's
okay,
not exciting
listen,
to
not
him?
not everyone's into that.
He's too into Tomatake.
Then she
That's the
smirked as
problem.
if she was able to see right through me.
We also have secrets. Just like how Keiichi-kun has secrets.
It was Rena's usual smile, but her eyes were still like that of a hawk's. Bringing her face close enough to mine to almost bump into my nose, she kindly persuaded me. I couldn't nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Rena, frightened me to my core. I was terrified knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously. After what felt like an eternity, after a long empty silence, she finally spoke.
Let's go. It's getting chilly.
It was Rena again. Smiling at me once more, she started walking as if nothing at all had happened.
Her Vietnam flashback is seized.
I was released from her gaze. My legs gave out from under me and I slumped onto the ground.
If only it was Tomatake who would bump Nose's face.
Oh my god. I wasn't able to lift a finger until Rena was out of sight.
Who was that?
I felt cold. My body was drenched in sweat. I was finally able to form a coherent thought and ask myself once again, who was that person who looked like Rena Ryugu?
Take a shit.
No.
If I must.
You must. You're obligated.
No, but you can't admit it. It has to be secret.
Secret shitter.
So I think it's safe to say at this point that Rena seems pretty trustworthy.
Of course.
I was
I
out
like
of
this
it
kind of-
and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner, except stare blankly into space. Was I terrified?
Her being a Nigerian warlord makes more sense now.
Was I terrified from Rena going off on me? No, that's not right. That was someone else who only looked like Rena. Then
That was Coney.
who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling. Knowing that there was someone else, not Rena. So tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem talking to Rena like I usually do. That thought was
What?
strangely comforting. He's
Damn,
saying,
the denial
he's
champ.
basically
He is
denying
gaslighting himself.
harm. That's why what he said makes
Like,
no sense.
he's like, well, she'll
This
get
is
better
a-
tomorrow.
This is a copium overdose,
Yeah,
guys.
he's only gonna start huffing it more as this goes on.
Dude.
Anyway,
The 5-minute Stockholm syndrome.
I concluded that I should just calm down and clear my head. Though those
Sounded right.
thoughts continued swirling around my mind. Finally, I returned to my senses as I heard my mother calling out to me from the bottom of the stairs. Keiichi! It's a call from the bookstore! Bookstore? Can't think of why they'd be calling me. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway.
Wait, does he have a separate line in his room? He had a phone in his room.
My apologies for calling so late at night. It's me, Oishi of the Okinomiya bookshop.
Yeah, but Oishi called his house instead of, like, his personal line, so...
Well,
Oh,
I'm making
Oishi-san?
fun of the fact that he probably doesn't have his own personal line.
Oishi-san.
Oh, okay.
He could have used his iPhone to answer.
Sorry.
Like, it would have... He could have picked up from his room.
Since your parents picked up, I said I was from the bookstore. It puts people off when I say I'm a police officer.
Oishi-san was, in his own way, rather courteous. He also lied. Classic cop behavior. Even so, I didn't want my parents hearing me to talk to the police.
A cab, even Oishi.
I brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed back up to my room on the second floor. So I guess those are two different lines, apparently. Sorry for... Okay, wait, that's... Yeah.
Sorry for calling so late. That phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. Can you copy down the number I'm about to give you?
Is he changing his phone numbers every single day? Okay.
He gave me the number for his direct line as I wrote it down. Well, the first one, I assume, was probably just the number of the Okinomiya police station. And now he's giving us his personal number, because we've got our social link up. Anyway.
Oh.
I thought that
So
was
we
the
get
end of
5% more
What?
XP in dungeons?
Yes. I thought that was the end of it, but he began making pointless small talk, and it was pretty hard to hang up.
So how's it been, Maibara-san? Did anything strange happen recently?
I see. This was the real reason. He really beat around the bush there. His adult conversational skills left me slack-jawed.
Are you from around here, Oishi-san?
Yeah, I am. Born and raised in Okinomiya.
If he's from around here, he might know.
Oishi-san. Do you know what this Onikakushi thing is about?
I believe that's when somebody suddenly vanishes because they've been abducted by a demon. It's a special saying from around here. That's the same meaning as spirited away like everyone else says.
Whereas my friends would say they didn't know when I asked, this older man gave me a direct answer. It made me
Maybe
a bit
older
happy.
man art's better.
It made me a bit happy that he answered me directly, without trying to hide anything.
Keiichi and
We
older
love
man.
good communication in a relationship.
Name a more iconic hero.
You can't.
It's the trio at this point.
Yeah. Hinamizawa was...
His harem of older men.
Not sure if I should tell you this, Maibara-san.
Don't try to play this off. If you're not going to talk, then I'm not going to tell you anything.
No, that's not what I meant. It's just... It may make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Hinamizawa was feared as the village where demons reside.
Oh, wait, that's...
Demons? By demons, you mean like those pitchfork-carrying things in hell?
More like man-eating monsters. They go down to villages, snatching people up and gobbling them down. That kind of tale.
I'd suggest going to the Yokai Wiki, if you're not familiar with that
Yokai
kind of
Wiki.
tale.
Go to the Toho wiki.
No, yokai.com.
No, not the
Go to-
Toho Wiki. There's a
Go to
site called,
Zun
like,
himself and ask
yokai.com.
what an Oni is.
Wait, what is the site called again?
Yokai.com. It is
Yeah, it is
yokai.com, yeah.
It's very fun to hit random page on that. There's so many. Anyway,
There's been a
you're
lot
welcome for me.
documented that are
You're
fairly
welcome for me
obscure.
showing that to you.
There's ones that are so obscure that they only have one story.
demon snatching people up is what this Onikakushi really means. Also, yes, most of them are about man-eating things, to be fair, but not all of them.
They said that the curse and being demoned away happened together. What does that mean?
I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row. But I didn't know there were people disappearing those same 5 years.
The curse and being demon away happened together? First time I've heard of that. Is that how it is, Maibana-san?
That's what I want to know. I heard Rena and Mion talking. They said that if it was really Ueshiro-sama's curse, then both the curse and the demoning away would happen.
Ueshi-san began hemming and hawing on the other end of the receiver. Yeah, like that. Maybe something about that came to mind?
Maibara-san, do you know the first incident? The murder by dismemberment?
Reminder that Oishi's talking to like a 14-year-old on the phone. Yeah, one of the sex perpetrators is still on the run, right?
Hypothetically, what if he isn't on the run, but was demoned away?
Huh? It was an outrageous hypothesis from Oishi-san. The incident 4 years ago was the particularly ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. They staked out various locations and investigated every possible escape route he had. But after 4 years, there wasn't even a hint of where he might be. Unless the police were completely incompetent. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh it off.
Then what about the incident next year? When the man who supported the project and his wife both died in an accident.
Well, actually, it was only the husband who died in an accident. His wife's body never surfaced. Unless we find the body, that's considered a missing person by law.
At the time of the incident, with the river below the cliff being muddy rapids, the police drivers had searched every branch of the main stream of the river for miles, but in the end, they weren't able to find her body.
It's just them not being able to find the body. She's still dead, right? Isn't it different from her being demoned away?
We cannot say someone is dead without their body. Until a certain number of years pass, by law, she's treated as still alive.
I'm not sure if it was right to call that being demoned away. The wife is missing. At least that part was reality.
How about the third year? The Shinto priest that died of illness and his wife committed suicide?
Maibara-san, that's actually the exact same scenario.
The wife had supposedly thrown herself into the bottomless swamp deep in the forest around Hinamizawa, meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in front of the swamp. A diver was able to recover a few of her articles, but they weren't able to find a body. The investigative headquarters believed that she had faked her death and was still alive somewhere.
I'm not sure if we can refer to these cases as being demoned away. It's just as you've said, every year, one person does go missing.
The incident this year, the woman with Tomitake-san has gone missing. Then what about the incident with the housewife beaten to death, who went missing? I believe the perpetrator was caught, right?
Yeah, we arrested him. He was just a miscreant with a record of narcotics abuse. He admitted to the crime while being questioned about a different incident. But, well, you see, after he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. It's still under investigation as to whether the disappearance had anything to do with the crime.
But you said you caught him, right? Did he have an accomplice?
No idea. It was most likely only the one perpetrator. Moreover, we can't even check now, because while under investigation, that man, he died in his holding cell.
He swallowed a spork and choked to death. It's not known whether it was an accident or suicide. Well, if you have to ask, then let's be paranoid.
Meaning, for the last 5 years, there's always one person who dies and one who goes missing?
That's about right. No, actually, I'm surprised as well. I never realized they had that in common.
Aren't you a detective?
He's not the brightest
I'm detecting some donuts, pal.
So, I actually think he probably did already figure that out, and he's just kind of stringing Keiichi along, trying to make
I'm
him think that this
detecting
is his
some-
own idea.
I'm detecting 4 jumbo cream puffs.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yeah!
I need to get some, like,
Some
jumbo cream
Twinkies.
puffs for next session.
Some Twinkies, too.
I couldn't believe this could help lead to the closing of those
It's-
incidents.
It sets the mood for this.
It was just something
Jumbo
they
cream
had in
puffs.
common.
Could it be that those demoned away have something in common?
At least you saw mumble that she seemed to be thinking about it. So I summarized the events.
The first year was the dam employee. The second year was the wife of the dam project supporter. Third year was the wife of the Shinto priest. Fourth year was the victim's family's child, and the fifth year was the victim's girlfriend, I guess. It doesn't seem like there's anything that connects them.
With the exception of the first year, wives and girlfriends. Those do stand out.
It does seem like there are a lot. Then that means the fourth year victim's child was different. It would have really stood out if they were all married couples. Except it's not just married couples, but parents and children as well. Come to think of it, I believe Tomitake-san also told me the younger brother is alive and has moved, if I recall correctly.
The child that went missing in the fourth year. Who were they?
Apparently, he was quite mature, 1 year older than you. His name was Satoshi Hojo-san.
Huh? Satoshi?
I remember that name. Didn't they tell me Satoshi transferred out last year?
He transferred out into hell.
He was at your school up until last year. Didn't they tell you anything about him?
Come to think of it, when I transferred in, I believe they said my seat belonged to a recent transfer student. Then, where I sat, once belonged to the one who was demoned away. It was his seat?
It was his seat. He was number 1.
Oh my god. I recalled the cold sensation that came from that desk. It made my hair stand up on end. This string of mysterious deaths, no, Oyashiro-sama's curse, I now knew how it connected to me.
The string of mysterious deaths that had not yet been cut.
Oh my god. Don't even get started on that. That chilling sensation. It was the feeling of Oyashiro-sama caressing the back of my neck, as if I were
shit,
a
he
puppet
teleported
with my
behind him.
strings cut.
Ah, yes, the older man.
Oyashiro-sama's curse.
Could Oyashiro-sama's curse really exist? He said the thing! He said the thing! He said it! In all
No,
honesty.
he did say Higurashi.
Darn. I was beginning to believe it. And I was scared. That's why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by man, and not the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely that seemed. No, the more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging, eventually, I'd reach the point
He'll
where I'd
reach
learn
diamonds.
something I really shouldn't know. To either be none the wiser, or to seek an answer I may regret. Which one would I be happier with? Maybe it'll be me next time. My execution could only be delayed for 1 year. That was when I remembered. Rena. Rena said she may be the next victim of the curse.
You mean Rena Ryugu-san? She transferred in last year and she's your classmate, isn't she? These incidents might really be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she?
It wasn't that. She said it might be her next. She said it in a way that made me think she had a concrete reason behind it.
It felt like she was convinced. Almost as if, you could say...
She was frightened. Her sudden change in demeanor. That was someone who looked like Rena, but wasn't Rena. That might be unrelated. All the strange things that I felt from Rena today came back to me.
I see. Then I'll be doing a bit of investigating on this end. Please continue your observations over Yugu-san, Mayabara-san.
Are you asking me to keep Rena under surveillance?
That's not what I mean, Mayabara-san. I just want you to watch out for your friend so she doesn't end up the next victim.
At that moment, just as my mouth was agape because I was so impressed with his mature, clever way with words.
It's not the time.
He's gotta gas up the older man, bro.
No.
I mean, this is
no.
a pretty impressive blatant lie here, I have to say.
He's the new Tomitake.
Knock knock! A sudden knock at the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I effortlessly covered up the end of the receiver.
Oishi is filling the Tomatake-shaped hole in Keiichi's heart.
Who wants to be Keiichi's dad, who is very happy right now?
Keiichi, get the door, please.
Wow, he sounds just like his father.
On the other side of the door, I heard my father's oddly upbeat voice. What could it be? It's so late.
Sorry, my dad just came in. Can we leave it at this for tonight?
Me when my dad comes in the room and I have to end the session.
Yeah. My apologies again for calling so late. If you find out anything else, please let me know. I'll tell you if I make any progress on this end. Well then, have a pleasant evening.
Keiichi, hurry and open up. Daddy's got his hands full.
What is Dad doing? I had stayed in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints were aching. When I opened the door, I saw my father was standing there with a tray, except we don't acknowledge him as a person because he has no sprite. On that tray,
He's actually just a vampire.
Cookies and 2 cups of black tea.
He's actually the invisible man.
On that tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea, a fairly fancy spread for our household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the side, everything you could ask for. This was quite the show of hospitality.
What's going on, Dad? What's all this for? Come now, don't play around, Keiichi. I'm coming in.
Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face. But for my entire life, I've never seen him act this hospitable. What had gotten into him?
So, what were you talking about?
I jumped. It's not something I had to keep from my father. But how could I explain to him that I was talking to a detective? I'm assuming he was, this late at night.
Nothing much. Just a friend. I don't mean the phone. She was here, wasn't she? Rena-chan.
Huh?
She wasn't here. Can someone take over for this? Because I'm just talking to myself.
I can take Keiichi's dad for me if you don't know.
Come now. Don't try to keep it from me. She just came over to play. You two were chatting away, so I thought I'd bring some tea. But it looks like I just missed her.
I had no idea what Dad was talking about. But a cold sweat dripped down my back.
How long were we talking?
Rena-chan went upstairs about half after. So it was close to an hour, I guess?
You saw her come up to the second floor?
Yeah, I did. I also told her that your room was the door down the hall up to the stairs.
Rena came to my house about an hour ago.
She was phoned.
Dad met her at the door and called out to me on the second floor. I probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on my conversation with Oishi-san. I didn't reply, but he knew I was in my room, so he had her come inside. Then told
Wow,
her
when I'm talking to Oishi-san, it's like the entire world is gone.
She thanked my dad and went upstairs. Then about an hour passed. She passed by my dad as he was bringing up tea and left. She came upstairs and about an hour passed. Then passed by my dad and returned home. Then after she came upstairs and until she left, where was Rena? There's only a short hallway between my room and the stairs. Meaning, Rena had, for about an hour, in the hall. No, she couldn't have been standing in front of my door all that time. The door to my room wasn't particularly thick. You could easily hear everything being said inside. All of the unsettling and unguarded things I spoke to Oishi-san about began rushing through my head. Honey, don't tease him. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again. Mom yelled up at Dad from downstairs. Dad left the tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointed chortle. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down at the floor around the doorway where Rena might have stood all that time. Just now, as I was talking to Oishi-san, with my back turned, Rena was standing a mere 6 feet away the whole time?
Oh my god, she's beautiful.
Isn't this wonderful?
She's the perfect girlfriend.
Truly.
I like how quickly everyone turned around on Rena.
So devoted.
All that time, in this dimly lit doorway? What did she
Found
see?
the yandere of the harem.
What did she hear? For what reason?
Funny you should say that.
He
Also,
gets
that
multiple.
phone clearly has a cold. This story's full of
Lucky him.
holes.
As the steam from the 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of black tea filled my room.
Yes, ominous steam.
Steam from the
Steamed
steamed
hams.
clams we're having.
Where green stink life and black tea.
Take a shit.
Only if you watch.
You guys know this is a screen transition, right? It doesn't count.
What do you mean? It's the end of the chapter. It totally counts.
My man is getting stuck and you're saying this is not the end of it? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only just begun. It's only just begun, my
this
friend.
is the start, my friend. Welcome to Onikakushi. Notice from the police chief.
Aren't we still in like the first chapter technically?
We're in the first episode, yes.
Okay, that's a better way to put it.
July 1st, 1982.
Literally 1982.
Literally. Does somebody else want to take this so I don't hoggle the narration? I think this is
I can do this. To Departments 1 through 12. Redacted Prefectural Police Headquarters. Director General redacted.
This might be a little bit easier in novel mode. Hold on.
The Chief Constable and all facility managers regarding cases situated in the Hinamizawa village. Notice. As cases in Shishibone City, Hinamizawa village have been reported by certain sections of mass media, it has drawn global attention, which is causing serious repercussions for the local residents. This has become a very serious situation. To protect the livelihood and prosperity of the residents, the following notice has been issued. 1. Designate the following criminal investigations as classified. Okinomiya Station 1982, case number X. Hinamizawa Village housewife murder, dated June XX. Okinomiya Station 1982, case number X. Hinamizawa Village student disappearance, dated June XX. 2. Non-disclosure of information. Okinomiya Station 1988, case number X. Hinamizawa Village site foreman murder, dated June XX. Shira Station 1980, case number X. Shirakawa Park natural falling incident, dated June XX. Okinomiya Station 1981, case number X. Hinamizawa Village Shinto priest's wife's disappearance, dated June XX.
That's a bit of a mouthful. I'm sorry. Also, Shirakawa.
Sure, a lot of Junes in there.
I already mentioned this, but Shirakawa is like the place Hinamizawa is based on. It's where all the photos come from.
3. Requesting self-restraint from each organization concerning the release of sensitive information. Please see attached reference materials 1, 2, and 3. Management. Redacted Prefecture Police Headquarters. Internal line, number. Police Affairs Department. Redacted.
And that's all for tips this chapter. That's all you get.
Somebody should tell those cicadas to shut up. It's more like they're crying.
No.
They call it Higurashi
Adventure
when they
mode.
cry, but they're always crying.
Oh, I just felt my bowels move for a bit.
Oh, yes, we finally get this theme. Oh boy. Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day.
Man, I should have drank so much beer last night.
I got hungover.
What's wrong? Sorry, wait. Oh my god, I need to fix my mic. Okay. What's wrong? Keiichi, you don't look so well. When did you go to sleep? It seemed that my mom had noticed my sullen state, and she sounded just like me for some reason. Yesterday, I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination, and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door.
It was enemy stands.
Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease. Also, yeah, his sanity is, I think
all-time low right now.
Meter might be slipping
He's pretty
a little
good.
bit.
Nah, he's pretty good. He's good.
It might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite.
My, you do seem a little warm. Well, can you make it to school? Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it?
But your
That's
perfect attendance.
Not my perfect attendance. Oh yeah, wait, that actually is kind of a interesting detail here. He did say he had perfect attendance before. So this is the only time in his life he has ever skipped school.
For a fucking good reason.
Schizophrenia too intense.
It could have been I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days, because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Ding dong!
Hey, Rena, how's the stalking going?
Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. It was Rena. Rena-chan came to get you. What are you going to do? Are you going to take the day off? Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute.
Oh,
especially when the light vanishes from her eyes. Yeah, always.
And that's what matters. That's what matters. That's like, you know,
Why
you gotta keep sight of what's important.
Yeah.
Especially
He's like actually coping so hard.
Look, if he can't handle her at her worst, how can he have her at her best?
You're so right.
Her best is the stalking, mind you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not Rena. That's just some random other girl.
Okay, but that other girl is really hot.
Why should I be so
Twin
scared of
sisters, the
something
same
like
name.
that? It wasn't Rena's
Why
fault.
is he coping?
It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be.
I'll rest. Sorry.
Then I'll go send her off for you. Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep-deprived, I quickly fell into a deep slumber. I'm sure his sanity is fine. This is probably not a bad sign. I had only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up.
And I saw her.
I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table, I found lunch prepared and a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah! Are you guys excited? Whoa,
Oh my
yeah!
God.
This happened
Home
every
Alone
so
7.
Home Alone is Home Alone is one of my favorite Christmas movies.
I think if anything, we're gonna be the Home Alone since, we got Satoko in here. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would be back for dinner, but might be a bit late. On the note, it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right.
Caring parent.
I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it really was just leftovers from the morning, and just in case, went to the hospital.
What a wholesome fucking novel.
Yeah, we're so wholesome and awesome. It's great.
Wholesome
Normally,
trip to the
I'd never
hospital.
be here, in the middle of a weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Irie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. I did see the original BG for this one, and I think it looks kind of funny. Oh no, wait, I'm thinking of the police station one, never mind. Anyway, Irie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot, and even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint.
Oh, like mint, like the flavoring?
No, mint.
No, like the money
an
production
NFT.
place.
Damn.
Yeah, they're making Tomatake corpse discovery NFTs. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room.
Best joke of the day.
Until it was my turn to be seen. To be seen,
Everyone
you
has-
say?
Every one of them has unique throat injuries.
They're all just like blingies.
Gotta have a doctor at the ready for the annual murder, of course.
We also need a
that's-
nurse right now.
It's too funny.
Maibara-san, please make your way to the examination room.
Do. After half-heartedly answering all of the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "It's probably a cold." I don't know if that's what he
Here,
sounds
take this
like.
rectal thermometer.
They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. I thought
Take a
it was
shot.
a little overboard. Oh yeah, take a shot. They said to take a shot, so you have to take a shot. I thought it was a little overboard, but if it would clear away the gloomy feeling I'd been having lately, then it was worth it.
You were diagnosed with Higurashi.
And then the cry of the Higurashi'd Higurashili, and you all had to take 15 drinks. I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. Okay, I'm done. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of
Yeah,
course-
these kids were like overdosing on alcohol. It's crazy.
Of course, I had no intention of
They're doing
eavesdropping.
Jenkum.
If it just wasn't for that word.
Must have been an Onikakushi.
I think this is different villager.
I wonder. She was still pretty young. Might have just eloped.
With whom?
That man from Tokyo who was at service season. That young'un with the bigger camera. Didn't you know they were getting along pretty well?
Paige is gonna start crying.
Were they talking about Tomatake-san? I could feel my ears perking up.
Oh, you sure would,
He's a
bitch.
cat.
I don't know about that. But you have to make preparations before you elope. Leave a note or quit their job or something.
It's an elopement because they didn't leave a note or message.
The thought that I'll never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad. She was really hot.
Takano-san is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes.
Oh, that's her.
Including the
So
grave.
her name was Takano-san. Yeah, her name is Mio Takano. That woman with Tomatake-san. And she worked at this clinic? Oyashiro-sama's shadow was following me wherever I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing, and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left.
I mean, fishing was by far the more important topic there.
This Onikakushi really might affect trout season pretty heavily.
I mean, they do say that the swamp is bottomless, right? There's probably some good fish down there. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Oyashiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Oyashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape.
Quit bitching.
His life
For
is
you to
literally
say that you're not
falling
in the
apart.
haunted village.
You get sacrificed by a demon. Quit bitching about it.
Yeah, quit bitching about it.
Maybe it was because I was walking outside.
You liberal pussies wouldn't let yourselves get sacrificed by demons. Hot damn.
The older man you were into got cursed to death. Get over it, bro. It happens to everyone.
Becoming the victim of the Watanagashi to own the libs.
He became the world's first NFT.
Oh, that's a place worse than that.
Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far onto the middle of the road?
They had cars back then?
Car's way? Yes, they had cars in 1980s.
Yes, they had cars in the
We're
80s.
not in the Heian era.
They actually didn't. That's a sign of his slipping sanity.
What time period do you think this takes place in?
The Sengoku era.
Sometime before
the
World
Sengoku
War
era.
I, right?
The 1880s?
No, this is the 1980s.
Okay, anyway. I've moved further off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around, peeved.
My Bada-san, good day to you.
It
If
was
he's within
Luigi-san.
talking distance, why did he honk?
He
in the
stepped
first
out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me.
What's up today? School on break?
I mean, he's kind of hot, yeah.
Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was about to buy lunch and head back home.
That's great. I'm just about to get lunch for myself. Would you mind going together? If you're not feeling up for it, then don't mind me.
Social link up, obviously we're going for it. I was just going to lie down after going home anyway. And I didn't really have a cold.
I expect you'd rather avoid using one of the local places. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive. Is that alright? I know a pretty good place.
I'd finally begun to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa.
No, don't. Oh, thank God.
We're back in the
transition.
car. I went with Oishi-san, riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie.
I'm sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you?
No.
I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me just by the door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This was where Tomatake-san died.
They put a snag on the investigation regarding Tomatake-san.
Oishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye.
They believed it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing out his own throat. But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by.
I know, dealer.
Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads.
You know that thing you see in manga all the time? When there's a drug that doesn't leave any traces after being consumed?
It exists. The Sukanilacol or something or other. Well, that's pretty common. But, you see, There doesn't seem to be any drug that would cause Tomitake-san to react like that.
Then you're saying the police concluded Tomitake-san just died from the curse?
I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless. I just wanted the idea of a curse
true.
being disassociated from Tomitake-san's mysterious death. I mean, they're right.
Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now. But putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and had taken a beating before he died. That was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans.
That made me a bit relieved. We passed in front of the rather desolate, but still busier than Hinamizawa, train station.
So glad that Tomitake got jumped.
What? Why?
Because now we have our new bestie. Oishi is our new best friend.
New old man.
The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot, and I followed Oishi-san into the shop. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course, there wouldn't be children in here in the middle of a weekday.
True, please. I'll make do with non-smoking.
This is a maid cafe, so who wants to voice the waitress?
Haven't had a voice in a while.
This way, please. When you are ready to order, please call me over.
Goblin maid, incredible.
We need to fucking
That would
this maid.
definitely sell, actually. I'm gonna be real. We were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. So I haven't actually seen the outfit. You don't get to see it, but I have a good idea of what it probably looks like.
It's okay, we have imagination.
I think it shows up in like the second episode, but
I
yeah.
would assume
An
this
anime.
restaurant shows
An
up
anime.
again, most likely.
Is this the main
I have
restaurant?
a suspicion. Anyway,
Yeah.
we were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Oishi-san at the booth. We got a fucking booth, let's go!
So, what do you think? Aren't the waitress's outfits here cute?
He's a fucking child!
Well,
On Japan.
I guess.
He's a teenager, he's at that age. The shop was always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses and the food, you see.
He's old enough to have discovered women.
Oh, Ishi-san, you're leering.
Am I really?
You can feel his belly jiggle when you laugh.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Jesus Christ.
Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Oishi-san's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table.
4 jumbo cream puffs.
Oh,
Yesterday, we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we?
that was probably his order, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. That it was the village of man-eating demons, or something like that.
I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my mother about it this morning.
Oishi-san
Source
took
my
out-
mother.
Oishi-san took out the
Somehow,
notepad
she's still alive. She's extremely old.
that was stuffed into his breast pocket.
Turns out that Hinamizawa used to be called Onikakushi, the demon's abyss.
Onikakushi. That's quite the name.
Hold on, I'm gonna turn up Warcraft just a bit. By a bit, I mean I'm gonna go like 180. There we go.
The name is still around. The swamp where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Onikakushi. It's said that the depths of that swamp connect to the realm of the demons.
Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous swamp.
Those parfaits do look good, yes.
And you see, it appears they were both feared and revered.
A respect born of fear. I guess you could say it was a kind of deification. A village of inhuman creatures.
Seems the demons were Senin, or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts. The villagers with incurable illnesses would be taken to Onikakushi to be healed, for example.
Even if we are calling them demons, Tengu, long-nosed goblins, or Sennen would be a more apt description.
They don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons.
But they were still man-eating demons. According to the story my mother told me, as payment for treating the son's illness, "Let us eat the mother who brought him here," was apparently how things went.
The price of curing her son was herself? That's unsettling.
Tasty.
Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then, you see, all the villagers of Onikakushi, the demons, chased, surrounded, and captured them.
The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine.
In the end, it seems both the mother and the son were caught and eaten. The end.
The problem with this story, both witnesses in the story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale.
Huh? There are plenty of old fables like this.
In contrast to the ghastly tale, Oishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee, not slipping.
Slipping on his coffee.
He's slipping.
He just picks up his coffee and he's like, "Whoa!"
Oh, banana peel!
Well, there are quite a few other tales where the demons from Onikakushi band together to capture their prey.
I recalled that Mion said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities with how that part about unification overlapped.
They would always hunt down a single person, and they chose who it was going to be beforehand.
Huh?
That caught my attention. Oishi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant.
My mother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You should just hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said.
So what does this all mean?
It means you must never help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. Seems there's that kind of rule.
Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities. In other words...
What happens if you break that rule?
Well, they're man-eating demons after all.
Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the entire village was in on the crime. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die when there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it.
Then, Oishi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the entire village or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes?
What do you think, Mayabara-san? Excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please.
That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say that last part. He waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking.
Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun disappeared.
Oishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee.
And 5 sugars. So those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, Mayabara-san, I had a bit, really, just a little bit, okay, of background checking on them.
If Oishi-san had said this to me before, I would have gotten angry at him for calling my friends into question. But as I was now, I couldn't.
This might sound pretty stupid. Mayabara-san, if you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop.
Oishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I had ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Oishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This is probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth.
Please.
That was all I could utter. Oishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began.
The victim of the incident the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations.
Oishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. That's quite a sentence. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up.
In the second year, the married couple who supported the dam project died in that accident, right? Their daughter was with them at the time. Her name is Satoko Hojo-san.
Name's Albert Einstein.
Satoko, meaning Satoko?
Oishi-san's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it as well, and quickly quieted down.
Somehow, why they already was. The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year. You see, their daughter is Rika Furude-san.
Rika-chan was?
The housewife who died in the fourth year? You know already, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Satoko Hojo-san. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody, as she had lost both her parents in the accident. She lived in the victim's house.
I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it had snuck all the way to my feet.
The one who disappeared the fourth year, by the way, he was Satoko-san's older brother.
Wait just a second.
It took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. But Oishi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard.
All the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends.
That has to be just a coincidence.
Maibara-san, keep it down. Everyone's looking.
Mion? Satoko? Rika-chan? So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rena is different, isn't she? Rena isn't connected with the victims at all.
He's a murderer.
Rena Ryugu-san was living in a suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture up until last year. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims.
He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected?
Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all the windows.
Rena did that? She broke all the windows at her school?
That same spacey Rena had... I couldn't even imagine it.
It seems that, after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication.
I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those matched Rena's easygoing personality.
And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up, and quite a bit of that.
What then?
I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret.
She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama.
It felt like someone's stone-cold hand was caressing my back. Why? Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa?
Seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow, looking down at her, commenting about her sleeping face.
My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told.
A while after that, she moved to Hinamizawa. Ah, that's right. She's not an outsider.
Huh?
According to their residency register, the Ryugu family used to reside in Hinamizawa. They moved to Ibaraki just as Rena-san entered elementary school.
My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension.
Maibara-san, are you alright? Shall we stop?
Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here.
Now, I know about Rena. Then, how about the last victim, Tamidake-san? Who was he connected with?
Irritated, I let out one final reprisal.
All of them. Have you forgotten Maibara-san? Didn't you all spend the night of the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves.
Now there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush.
We should get going. Maibara-san, did you take your afternoon medicine?
I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today until Oishi-san said that. I got another glass of water, and we left the shop after I chugged it down.
Oh, this was the named restaurant. You could see the sign on the door.
Yeah, it's Angel Mort. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. But that big jolt was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Tomatake-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car.
Damn, they ran him over.
I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation.
Why did you talk to me?
I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer.
I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop.
Not that. Why did you reach out to me?
I understood quite well that Oishi-san was investigating this string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Oishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, possibly know? By chance, if there was a reason for Oishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I was part of Mion's circle of friends who looked suspicious to Oishi-san.
I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving away after retiring as my mother wants. So, while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light.
You
Oh, he
hear
said the
that,
word.
guys?
Uh-oh.
It's his last year until retirement. You heard that, right, guys?
It's almost like it's not foreboding at all.
It's not. So, Oishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them.
Oishi-san didn't really give a response. It felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. Someone's
This
really
is-
sleepy.
Mostly my intuition from 30 years on this job. Maibara-san, you're the one in danger.
Huh?
I wanted to reply with, "That's absurd," but in my downtrodden state I couldn't bring myself to say it.
I'll be retiring this year, but I won't be at the Watanagashi next year. So I want to settle things.
Saying that.
In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the victim.
I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again. Or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing.
Pressure from what?
Someone at Hinamizawa. We've arrived. Is this fine?
After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears. There, that's a real
Take a
one.
shit.
You can take that
Yeah,
one.
there, title drop.
I won't mind if you just forgot everything I told you today. But I'm still gonna keep investigating. I'll end Oyashiro-sama's curse this year.
Stop saying it!
Bruh.
So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens?
It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, my son.
I wasn't collected enough to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying it.
Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick.
I didn't really give any sort of response.
I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off now.
Whoops. The tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into a cloud of kicked-up dust.
If Oyashiro was at full power, he might give me a bit of trouble.
It felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That's a very good metaphor. I love that. That was the first time I thought Oishi-san was being unfair. Telling me I was going to be the next victim, then just saying to contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing.
This
And I
a
was just the
battle
bait
royale.
dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator? Was it really just Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole. Don't. Do
Damn
not.
it. I don't want to die.
Okay. I'm glad we all had the maturity.
This is bait.
Huh? Huh? What?
Don't worry about it.
Huh?
Anyway, for some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car. We'll see, if I say it, then you guys are gonna say
Take
it.
a shit.
So.
I don't think anyone even thought it from the response.
I thought
Yeah, I
it,
think
and
you're-
that's why I was
I
concerned.
think you're hallucinating things.
Bro is having his own schizo arc.
I can listen. I can have a schizo arc. It's called getting in character. Maybe read a
That's a
dictionary.
nonsense joke that you're hinting at.
I wonder how much time had passed since I laid down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It would probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the
piss
phone
on?
downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice it. Oh yeah, that's right, our parents aren't home.
That means that ghosts are allowed in.
Hello, this is the Maibara residence.
Personally, I think the Japanese greeting is better. Moshi moshi.
Moshi moshi. Yeah.
It's funnier.
Oh, he's alive. Hello. This is Mion. How you doing?
This is one of Keiichi's friends. Keiichi's resting now, but shall I put him on?
Huh? Is this his dad?
I couldn't tell. They sound exactly the same.
Sorry.
Ryukishi knew.
Idiot. You fell for it.
Huh? Kei-chan!
After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved in the incidents? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me.
I'm relieved that you seem well. Rena was really worried, you know? Stoko-chan was happy and said that you got what you deserved. Rika-chan said, how unfortunate he's sick.
Looks like everyone was making a big deal out of it.
Well, you know. It's okay, Chan. It's now a bad time to come pay you a visit?
Visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying.
My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see. I was told to share them. So I'll bring you some.
Mochi mochi.
Mochi mochi.
Hey now, you'll catch my cold.
Not to worry. Both Rihanna and I are too stupid to catch a cold. See ya. Be there in a bit.
That's
Oh,
so
no.
real. She's so
Oh
real.
no. Oh fuck, she's bringing the gun.
She hung up cheerfully. Rena's coming too? That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with Mion.
Dude, oh my god. Keiichi literally said the depression is chronic, but the jokes are iconic.
True.
I think he's still
luck.
coping really hard.
Yeah.
I heard the door.
The
Good
door,
luck,
10
Kenny.
minutes later. She was calling from Rena's house at that point, if it's only 10 minutes away.
How are you feeling? You take your medicine and rest?
I did just that.
Oh my god, you fucking psycho!
Thank goodness you look well. I was worried.
Sorry, I'll be fine by tomorrow.
Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who's recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart.
Oh, she's
It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions. I thought we might. Oh, sorry, that's someone else's Mion. I got
I
episode.
thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in condition for it.
There are two Mions?
Mm-hmm. You
I
don't
mean,
say.
two Renas.
Okay,
that's true.
anyway.
Mion understands.
Hmm? You don't say.
It seemed my face appeared a bit sullen.
Then here, Keiichi-kun. These are the mochi Michan's grandma made.
Rena held out the package wrapped in newspaper. There might be about 5 in here. It was quite hefty.
Ah, thanks. Send my regards to your grandma, Mia.
Yep. Ah, there's one that I made in there as well. I wonder if Keiichi-kun can guess which one.
Are you
Mochi
fucking
roulette.
kidding me?
It's Mochi Roulette.
It has cyanide!
I put a bomb in there, Keiichi.
This is Kei-chan's homework since he missed the club meeting today. There are
Bombs
letters
and
on each
food?
mochi, so I'll
Is
ask
that
you
an Umaneko
tomorrow.
reference?
Might be. Were you checking if I was feeling better, or did you just come here for club activities?
Yep, looking fine. Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow.
What are you going to do if my fever comes back because of your shenanigans?
Michan, we shouldn't be making such a racket. Let's go. The other people here will get angry.
Oh my god, it is a bomb.
Both of them
Mochi.
thought my parents were home. It was because the entranceway was a mess. I want to just real quick, because the entranceway... It really is a mess in the original. Look at that. That's a fucking disaster.
That's a psychedelic breakdown.
That's like
I'm
an
gonna,
image
I'm gonna
from a
leave it on
dream.
for this scene. I just want to see how people feel about this vibe. Let me do 4x3 scaling. There we go. Can everybody still see the text box okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It was because the entranceway was a mess.
You're right. Let's get going. Ah, by the way, Kei-chan,
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me in the ass. Oh my
what'd you eat for
god.
lunch?
The sudden question startled me, and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion.
Now Mion gets to be hot too.
I've never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But
They're all ghosts.
why is she asking me about what I ate for lunch?
This is bullying.
What she said was so inane it was almost meaningless. The way she said it, it was almost like she didn't care at all about what I ate.
I ate out.
Your grandma.
She must have suspected that I was with Oishi-san. Anyway, If I hesitated or tried to change the subject, then they'd read too deep into it, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except, contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied.
So you ate out for lunch, Keiichi-kun.
Oh my god, this harem is trying to kill me.
The best kind.
The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if to make me feel the feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew. That's how it looked to me.
Well, was it good?
Why are you asking me this?
Mion was speaking in an unusually low tone. That's points for you, I think. Almost as if she knew that I had eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There was no way they could have known where I was.
This is a very small town.
Seems you were with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he?
Flop. The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood had drained from my face, making me go pale.
Oh, Keiichi-kun. Who was he? Could it be the person from before, I wonder?
I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything?
How do you know that?
It took everything I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaking.
Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know.
Mion sneered knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever.
Dear God.
So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about? Seems like you got pretty worked up over it, too.
Oh, please initiate the Second Amendment right now.
We weren't talking about you guys. It didn't have anything to do with you or Rena.
Wait, the second? Like the right to bear arms?
Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up even though nobody asked about that?
Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside me. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much, it felt like it was going to explode.
Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all. Remember that.
I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly.
Fuck off.
Staring
Keiichi-kun,
contest?
you don't look so good. I think you should lie down.
That's true. We should both head back home.
As if nothing had happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way out.
Oh, hell yeah, I have 2 stalkers now. Yes, yes!
I hadn't moved a muscle since I had dropped the package of mochi. As they left...
I think it'd be like a funny twist if you're just messing with him. There's nothing going on, you're just messing with him.
Yeah, they're
I
gaslighting
I actually have a theory about what's going on. I'm not going to say it until the end of the chapter. Anyway, as they left, the door slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was just about closed, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing once again. A single eye peered in through that narrow slit, and Mion's hawkish gaze peered at me once again.
Poke her.
See you, Kei-chan.
Yeah.
I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow, alright?
You're pretty cool. Don't come to school tomorrow.
Thud.
Go to school tomorrow.
No, you're
Go
pretty
to school
cool.
tomorrow.
Do come to school tomorrow.
The door closed.
Nah, she's about to use the gun.
I wasn't able to move a muscle even after their low laughter died off into the distance, and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming
Oh
back
my
to my
God.
senses, the first thing I did was lock the door.
They rehearsed this.
They knew what Oishi-san and I talked about? Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard, from the beginning when Oishi-san met me. Just as Mion said, I couldn't hide anything. Then, what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Oishi-san about one thing, and they were warning me that that was unnecessary. What was it that Oishi-san talked to me about? The incidents involving Oyashiro-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole, as well as the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that what they were warning me against?
What kind of nonsense am I thinking about?
I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a horrid slap. If only that would wake... If only that would wake me from this nightmare. But for some reason, it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down, calm down. Settle down and sort things out. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Oishi-san was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at the time. They must have told Mion that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had any ulterior motives. That's
Copium
it.
overdose.
That has to be it. Thinking about it this way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I met with Oishi-san, and Rena was just correcting me on that.
Oh my god.
That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena, and was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. It was only
He's
natural.
actually going.
It was only
He's
natural.
actually.
It was just a goof.
He's
Dude,
actually
not
going
a
to
freak
die.
anymore. He's a beta cock.
He's actually going to die from OGing on copium.
Yeah.
How can he be a cuck when he has a harem?
It felt like my
They're
mind
not
was
mutually
mixed up,
exclusive.
like a
by
tangled mess of
definition.
spaghetti.
I mean,
Deep red
Like a
marinara
tangled
sauce
mess of
would
spaghetti
have
with
poured
a
out of
string
my nose
stuck.
and ears if you squeezed my head. For some reason,
He's
a
Japanese... For some reason,
He's a
Japanese
cuck.
VN devs love making Italian food metaphors.
He's a cuck because Toмотake died before he could score.
I feel at this point like he doesn't have the harem, but the harem has him.
Yeah.
That's even better.
I
that's
very
good, too.
distinctly remember when I was reading the first Zero Escape, there's a point where they describe a corpse that is like actually just completely exploded, and I believe they also make a comparison to Italian food when referring to his existence.
Yes. Yes. Penne with meat sauce.
Yeah,
Oh,
something
wait,
like
like-
that. It was wonderful.
Penne Alfredo.
Which, like, the guy who, like, didn't even survive long enough to get a
Yes.
name. It's 9 man.
Well, no, it was... Well, I guess I shouldn't say it,
Okay,
but
so, no, yeah, no.
because that's a spoiler. Anyway.
Spoiler
Yeah.
for an unrelated series.
Good
Anyway.
series, though. Play Zero Escape.
It is.
Maybe.
No.
Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head. By the way, Zero Escape VLR is so long that it was basically the thing. Finishing that was basically the thing that made me go like, okay, I'm finally gonna do Umineko. This is it. That game took me like 70 hours to full clear, by the way.
Beautiful.
It
You'll have
has
to hear
a
it.
great, like, story flowchart thingy, though, that makes it so much
Yeah, you have
better
to
to get through.
You have to do every single route in that game to get the full story. It's one of those. Anyway, lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. It didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think that they're a good bunch of people. When I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of everything, they were really kind to me. Lena was really kind and always looked after me. As long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she really was pretty cute.
Oh,
And then when it does, she's super hot.
Mion was also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender, and was optimistic and outgoing.
That's such a weird thing to say.
That's also just not true.
I was never bored when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, the rambunctious Satoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty
Hey, now she's
bratty.
sticking grenades on door handles.
She's got a grenade bouquet outside of Keiichi's door. That was pretty bratty. But it
Do
was
you
just
think
the
that's
way
something
she
we'll see later?
interacted with others. It's quite possible, honestly.
It's a
Rika-chan
pipe
was the
bomb
same
bouquet,
way.
but yeah.
She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of the better untold stories of Hinamizawa from Oishi-san and Tomatake-san, when I was told about Oyashiro-sama's curse, things started going crazy. Then hearing from Oishi-san that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. After
all
that,
in on it.
everyone changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Oishi-san told me all that strange stuff.
And now you're gonna blame it on him.
At that time, I should have just not listened to those weird stories. I shouldn't have even asked Tomatake-san about the past incidents on the White of the Watanagashi. If I just hadn't got that strange sense of curiosity, if I just hadn't, that's right. So that's why they... Tomatake-san.
What?
For the record,
No
I
fucking way!
don't think
Oh
they're...
my god!
I don't think they're
They
censoring it. I
really-
don't think they're censoring it because they're too afraid to say it. They say so
like-
much worse stuff. In
Oh
Only
my
That
god,
Rated
they
T for
scored
mild
him!
language.
They scored him!
I'm pretty sure what this is supposed to indicate is that, like, Keiichi is fighting against his own thought process, which is kind of fucking amazing. Anyway. That
Oh my
impudent
God,
Night Souter is speaking to the likes of me after everybody went out of their way to keep it a secret from me.
You really
They'll
did get
probably-
caught.
Oishi-san as well.
No,
How
stop!
on earth what was
Oh,
holding
the
me
old
was
man,
better left
no.
buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course a guy like that is going to be... Both Tomatake-san and Oishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with the people of Hinamizawa. Those guys just fall to Oyashiro-sama's curse and just...
Ass.
Listen,
Wasn't
I
that-
know
He's-
it's
he's-
serious.
He's so coping that he can't even picture it.
It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault.
Oh my god.
He seems to be doing fine.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I settled.
That's
into
how I spend most
days.
of my Saturdays, so yeah.
you just curl up into a ball and start saying it wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. Anyway, I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling, like I had just gotten up, but the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was
Keiichi,
fine
the
now.
accident was 5 years ago. You need to let him go.
I was fine now. I was fine now. It was only natural. I was no longer frightened. I had completely
Tomatake's-
recovered.
Tomatake's death was 5 days ago. You can let it go now.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them, after all.
Ah, that reminds me. I need to eat those mochi. I hope I'm able to tell which one Rena made.
Oh my god, here comes the cyanide.
These mochi are made in a bomb factory.
I remember-
They're bombs.
Their bombs.
Grenade mochi.
I remember the homework the two brought with them when they visited me. But wow, our club did delivery. That was something else. I picked up the package I dropped on the floor and headed into the living room. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill
Oh
my
my
mouth
god, even
while
the
mochiing
kitchen's
while
a mess.
drinking
What the
tea.
fuck? That's abominable, dude.
From what I
Really
heard,
funny.
he actually...
That's what a Fallout kitchen looks
From what
like.
I heard, Ryukishi actually went on a trip to Shirakawa with his friends, and they just took a bunch of pictures.
I hope this isn't Ryukishi's own kitchen.
Yeah, I think it
I
might be
really hope
the
it's
guest
not.
kitchen at wherever he was staying. That would be really funny. Anyway, to fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh, this was quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening up the newspaper wrapping, there were 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. The best flavor, if you ask me.
There's a dead cicada in there.
That's a good one, yeah.
There were letters from left to right on the newspaper. A, B, C, D, and E. Now
What is
then.
this so many game?
They said that Rena made one of these. I wonder which one.
Why are they putting English letters on this mochi?
There wasn't much difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared about the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena's had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made very neatly. So well that, just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out.
Looks like this challenge depends on whether or not this one is Rena's.
Calm down and think even harder. Mion had said that her grandma had made a ton of them and was told to give some out, if I remember correctly. So that meant 4 of these were from that large batch. Then what about Rena? She probably only made 1. So she probably spent quite a bit of time on it. Meaning, the one Rena made was this one! E! I like how I'm doing the club voice, even though it's just cricket sounds. For a moment, I thought it may have been a trap Mion laid, as she knew I'd pick up on it, but that probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Rena had made it, it probably wasn't a trap.
Caught it with a knife.
Alright, I mean, it definitely was.
My tea is ready too. I'll start with the defending champ, Mion's grandma. Let's see.
Not bad. The smooth bean paste and soft chewy texture left little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. I should have mochi and tea sometime, that sounds nice. This was an exquisite piece of work.
Mochi for the Umineko watch read through when.
I think I've said this before, but when we get to Umineko, I might just have like a dedicated tea channel. Anyway, now, how about Rena's? The creation was so delicate, one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. But, well, first, a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there was a little difference in flavor. What was different was how it was shaped at the end, so it was to be expected. So the deciding factors would be presentation and volume. The well-formed and well-sized champion, Rena, versus Rena the challenger, with a size you just couldn't get enough of. I'd only had 1 bite of Rena's. I would probably have to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset.
A bomb.
C4.
Thanks for the chewing noise, thank you.
Yeah,
It seems my
good one.
prediction was right. My tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached in with my fingers and grabbed it.
Come on, razor blade.
Oh, hell yeah, razor blade.
What? What was this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could.
Oh, definitely a dead cicada.
It slammed against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then, after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? Rena had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I?
Oh, fuck off!
Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that performed such a vile act. Then I remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. At first, I thought it was a hair. Even though it was shorter than Mion's, Rena's hair was still quite long. And it wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around on my tongue. There was a bit of a metallic sheen on one end of it. Ah, yes, there was a hole for one where a thread goes through, like it was a sewing needle. Yes, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle. Exactly like one. The end was pointed as well, quite sharply. It really did look just like a sewing needle.
Yummy.
Huh?
It's probably just a thick
What did
hair.
I mean by looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? I couldn't answer.
He's coping his own coping.
But inside, a voice inside me already knew, and let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't stave off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly, I tasted something metallic and felt a prickling pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if I was bleeding. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. The sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both hands over my mouth, and, after writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold back the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was throbbing intensely. Then, it finally registered. Exactly what was mixed with the mochi. Before I could think of the correct word, my hands were already on the move. Splat. Plop. Splort. I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall.
Those are vomiting sounds.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna switch back to the OG backgrounds real quick because there's a fun little detail. Or not OG, the console backgrounds. Where is it?
See it.
There it is.
Background style.
Yeah, look
there
at
we
that.
go. Oh, nice.
Oh my god.
Very cool.
The geometrical patterns of
Nice.
the scattered bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind.
Looks too brown.
I mean, red bean is basically brown. Brown is just
Like
very
brownish
dark
red,
yellow.
yeah.
Anyway, after looking away, I dashed out to the hall and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under the covers until morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat or warning or reminder, nothing as simple as that. What had happened in Hinamizawa? What is happening in Hinamizawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Rena and Mion and the others, they consider me an enemy. And they thought I should just die. I won't let you kill me. Not for such a pointless reason.
Be right back, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine. I fell into a restless sleep as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if I was being drawn into a billowing, bottomless swamp.
Oh
What a-
fuck. No, my bowels!
What a fun visual
Take a shit.
novel. Fun little slice of life, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's going great. It's awesome.
See, this is more like real life accurate slice of life.
Is
I
it?
actually have
This
a
is how I
theory about
remember
that
high
as
school.
well. Yeah, that's how high school went. I mean, kids,
Oh, they give you the
kids
drug
are
that
like the
made you
worst.
commit suicide.
Yeah,
That-
so we
that's
have 2 tips this
That's
time.
that's what I remember it being like, and I didn't even go there.
We will start with what's a drug that makes you commit suicide, and then we will continue with threat.
Oh my god, if Tommy Taka-san died of ligma, I'm gonna be so upset.
Oh wait, right, GMs. Would anyone like to take over the cop for a sec?
I'll do
Let's.
it.
I'll do it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Let's cut to the chase. Is there a drug that causes someone to kill themselves?
Not directly, no.
That's quite a roundabout response. You mean that there's one that does it indirectly?
It's possible to induce a suicidal mental state, is what I mean.
It's hard to say. What would a suicidal mental state be?
Like a person with a serious bipolar disorder, it's believed that people are most likely to attempt suicide when swinging from depression to mania.
I'm pretty sure that's true. Clinical depression and bipolar disorder are different. Clinical depression indicates a prolonged state of depression, whereas bipolar disorder is characterized by a passive depressed state accompanied by a very active manic state.
Individuals with clinical depression suffer from low self-esteem and are quite pessimistic, but rarely commit suicide. They don't have the willpower to commit suicide. Nor does mania on its own lead to suicide. That has an opposite effect, filling the person with confidence and making them feel as though they're walking on air. Thus, they do not commit suicide.
That's interesting. Neither state causes suicide, but when the condition changes, they might do so.
There is a desire to commit suicide when in a state of depression, but they do not have the willpower to commit such a formidable act. But when they enter mania, they gain a burst of willpower, and their body moves as they desire.
I see. So it means they gained the willpower to commit suicide.
Please don't say that way.
That's how it goes. That's why patients are giving sedatives during that time to keep them from acting on their impulses.
Oh. Then when... then was Tomotage bipolar? Fuck.
Bipolar. You were about to say bipolar.
People who suffer from bipolar disorder generally commit suicide by more civilized means, like, say, hanging or jumping off a building. Self-harm, as though going through withdrawal, is completely different.
Tomitake's death wasn't civilized. So one would think it was caused by some foreign substance. As I said from the start, tell me of a drug that causes someone to commit suicide.
There are reports that methamphetamine overdoses can produce a condition that resembles bipolar disorder. It's a stimulant. Barbiturate overdoses are also reported to cause erratic behavior. That's a sleep aid.
There were no signs of stimulants. Are there any other possibilities?
All I can think of is that it's some sort of illness. Something like Graves' disease, which affects the thyroid and is known to cause symptoms that resemble bipolar disorder. But Graves' disease has many characteristic symptoms of its own. The deceased exhibited none of them.
Alright, I'm back.
Wonder,
I'll let whoever was taking over Oishi finish for now.
That's
I wonder, is there something that could happen more spontaneously? Something that fits this case and would cause someone to want to commit suicide all of a sudden?
I hope you guys are ready for us to be demonetized, by the way.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with organic mental disorders?
We're
In short,
monetized.
it's a condition where the brain is out of whack due to physical injury or illness.
Instead of
It can
being
be caused by
instead of being demoned away, we're getting demonetized away.
It can be caused by drugs, but it can also be caused by physical trauma, encephalitis, a stroke, or even tumors.
Or in response to physical trauma. Basically, even without a drug, one can succumb to an irregular mental state.
We're getting money, Kakushi.
The deceased was surrounded after being chased, and his life was in danger, right? All that stress could have messed with his brain chemistry. He could have hit his head, and those factors combined might have caused him to mutilate himself. It's a possibility.
Could you explain it to me in simpler terms?
No.
Baby talk.
Basically, he knocked his noggin in the brawl, and that made him go haywire.
Oh, that's very Texan.
Nah, guess this means the assailants didn't have any intent to kill. They smacked him, hoping to nick some change, and just so happened to hit a bad place.
Texas, this is not a good time to do this.
Listen, he's in his office.
I like nick some change.
Also, they already confirmed that they didn't nick any change, just for the record. The two plump men laughed hoarsely.
Like horses. But of course, it's not like that.
Undoubtedly. Whether it was habitual drug use or something mental, the deceased's background holds the key. How's your investigation going?
Oh my goodness, look at the time. I need to get back soon or Kuma-chan will get angry with me.
Yeah, good luck. Best wishes.
Best wishes.
Expertly cut off right when he was about to say the thing you probably wanted to say. Anyway. Threat.
Is Kuma bear?
I think Kuma means bear, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Threat. Here we go.
Those guys just now.
Who wants Kuma? Whoops.
Too late now! Train's left the station!
No one voices him this time.
This is another police character.
Sure.
Okay.
This is the good cop. This is the good cop to Oishi's bad cop.
Go ahead.
We?
Oh, did you want to do it? I can do it.
Or
I'm hovering over the text is blue right now. So,
I wasn't sure you were saying you won.
Oh my god, pick it up!
take the blame.
Pick it up!
No, you
They had
first.
natural
No,
diet
you
badges.
Pick up
first.
the phone.
Natural diet.
Then it's Prefectural Assembly Member Sonozaki and City Councilor Sonozaki.
That's interesting. Prefectural Assembly member and City Councilor are related.
It's dirty is what it is. Shouting out each other's name during elections. While one is up for election, the other one holds an assembly, and they double up their campaign activities. Blatantly.
I don't know much about this stuff, but isn't that against the rules of the election?
As long as they have no prior consultation, there are no restrictions on their political activities. Kuma-chan, the second investigation division is going to be pretty tough for you. You should at least brush up on election laws.
I'm not cut out to handle intellectual crime. 'Cause I'm dumb.
That's how country police officers laugh. True.
The fucking police officer.
The most accurate police officer. Anyway, there was prefectural assembly member Sonozaki and city councilor Sonozaki. Also, the mayor of Hinamizawa. So, they're all influenced by the Sonozaki family. What crap.
Looks like they were seen off by the deputy chief and the department chief.
It came to me. That night, when the department chief invited me along to get some Odin, I thought that was it. I can't resist doing a sheriff voice when I'm voicing a detective. I think this is also another
This is the
officer.
chief,
Yeah.
I assume.
I'll do it. You have a lot of connections. You may have heard something, have you?
Nope, not a thing.
I'll take a tofu fritter and a fish cake. The councilor stormed in on the police chief in a rage.
Oh my, is that so? Ma'am, I'll take another bowl.
Prefectural Assembly member Sonozaki and City Councilor Sonozaki were both intimidating. Our snot-nosed career police chief couldn't handle being yelled at by them. They're like Yakuza.
Might as well be. A petition with your name came up regarding how the investigation of the Hinamizawa incident is being handled.
Goodness me, I'm not the faintest.
No need to play dumb. You're reopening the past cases regarding Hinamizawa, aren't you?
I've already got my hands full of Tomatake's death.
Oh, really? I hope so for your sake.
There was a period of silence. While we were silent, we made headway on our food and drink.
Ooh, that was quite a feast. This month has been a bunch of losses for me, so my wallet was feeling the pinch. Much appreciated.
Nah, it's nothing. Tell me a good horse again. I'll bet on the same one as you.
I haven't been doing well there lately. I haven't been able to read the horses at all. Taxi!
He's a gambler.
He's a gambling cop. I'm
Yo,
on my train.
IG reference? Gambling mentioned?
Whoa, did someone say gambling? Is that a...
Is JoJo reference?
Is that a Kakegurui reference?
The Chad Kaiji.
Yeah, the Virgin Kakegurui versus the Chad Kaiji.
Exactly.
The department
Ignore the
chief is
fact that he always loses.
It's not even true.
At first.
The department
It only
chief...
gets worse for him.
Bro, is this in the
first.
Ultimate Survivor?
Guys, the department chief is taking a taxi.
Oh my god.
I have my own car, but it'd be rash to drive it home. Sorry,
That was so
I have my
funny.
own car, but it'd be rash to drive it home. out in the Wild West. Can't blow it right before retirement with a DUI.
They definitely had cars in the Wild West.
This is how I
though.
think Oishi
Not the
sounds in his
80s.
own head. Even though you could still rattle off, it still looked like his legs were already jelly. Pushing him into the cab, I gave the driver the department chief's address.
Well, see you again tomorrow. Best wishes. Do you think Oishi watches Clint Eastwood movies?
Probably.
Definitely.
100%.
Oishi-san.
Yeah.
The past incidents have all been close. Stop lumping them all together. Those villages have believed it's really a curse.
Well, I'm not convinced.
Fuck you!
Blow me!
You're going to be retired next year, aren't you? When are you going to pay off your mortgage with your severance pay and move up to Hokkaido with your mom?
I was actually gonna move back to my childhood home after this.
Yeah. Mother pines to return to her birthplace. The least I can do. And the pension, well, it'll let me enjoy myself in Susukino.
The chief said he may have to reconsider issuing your special retirement salary raise.
A public servant's severance payment is calculated based on their monthly salary when they retire. Sorry, wait. So, a special promotion of 2 pay grades is given before retirement. This tops up the employee's severance payment. That tends to be how it's done around here. Of course, it's not exactly a commendable custom. Incidentally, the difference that 2 pay grades makes to the payout is quite significant.
I'd expect no less of our egghead chief. Quite the model veiled threat. But, well, considering how our pay comes from the public's hard-earned taxes, it's the way of the times, I suppose.
It certainly wasn't a laughing matter, but I'll laugh through it anyway.
I don't think it's such a model response, but given how hard you've worked, it's not at all odd for you to take home such a good package. Personally, I'd like you to get it.
If I can get it, well, of course I'd want it.
You'll get it, as long as you're an adult about this.
Sorry for holding you up here, driver. Thank you very much.
I closed the door roughly, interrupting the department chief's conversation a bit rudely. It looked like he still had something to say, but he just smiled wryly and waved. I waved in return. The cab sped up gradually, and soon disappeared among the sea of lights.
Oh!
Oishi jump scare.
Oh, man. I wonder if I'll be able to repay that loan.
When I moved back to my childhood hometown.
Dude, classic detective is getting
After
fucking
retirement.
Alright. Do we wanna keep going since this is the end of, I think, chapter 8? Or
This should
I
be
think this is a
chapter
good
9,
stopping
actually.
point.
chapter 9.
But it can work as a stopping point, yeah.
It
If we
seems
want
like
to.
If you
stopping
guys wanna stop for now, that's fine. We
Yeah, I
got
think it's
through
like
a
a
lot
stopping
today.
point.
I'm so happy we got to the Mochi scene.
We're getting to the good stuff.
Yeah,
This
finally.
this truly is the harem in real life versus harem in anime.
This truly is the Higurashi when they cry.
Okay,
It
you know what
indeed
would have
is.
made me real scared? Like inside the mochi, there was actual laxatives in it.
That would have been pretty scary.
That would have been the scariest thing in history.
They just use
I will say also,
artificial sweetener.
being a veteran of Higurashi as well, getting to reread this has made me notice a lot of things I did not notice on my first read through.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you
I-
for
I-
the
I think-
session.
Yeah. I think I was just gonna say, I think Imp actually mentioned that at some point while we were reading this, that he noticed something he didn't notice before. I think he was very concerned about it.
I noticed it specifically in this session because of a detail that obviously we won't learn until later, but very much can recontextualize things.
Yeah, this is gonna be what they call epic. Okay, I'm stopping the recording now.